Hello, this is BBC News with the latest headlines for viewers in the UK and around the world. I'm Victoria Fritz. Hello there. The American makers of the Novavax vaccine have reported promising findings from a large-scale trial in Britain, raising hopes that the jab could be rolled out in a matter of months, boosting global supplies. Now, the study was strong enough to protect against a highly transmissible British variant of the virus. Here's John Donison. Now, this weekend, Britain will open its doors to potentially hundreds of thousands of people living in Hong Kong. A new visa system will give those with so-called British national overseas status the chance to live and work in the UK and potentially become citizens. China has accused Britain of interfering in Hong Kong's internal affairs. Here's our diplomatic correspondent, James Landell. Hello there. We start with an epic battle that's raging on Wall Street. It's seen small-time amateur investors take on the titans of the hedge fund industry, and it's all centered around this company. The struggling US computer game retailer GameStop. Its shares have soared as much as 1,700% after a group of private investors used online forums to try and drive up the price. And that has raised serious questions about how financial markets operate in the era of social media, as Paul Hawkins reports. Of capitalism, do you think?
No.
A shift of power happening here towards the retail investor economy to have these checks, and there are clearly some very angry retail investors caught up in the middle of this, one of them involved in Paul Hawkins' report there. Do you think the brokerages were right to stop trading? Very much. Now, the surge in trading by private investors isn't just restricted to the United States. Across Asia, from South Korea to Thailand to Hong Kong, retail investors are borrowing heavily to buy shares. Mariko Oi is following this for us in Singapore. Mariko, it's a pretty risky strategy. Oi, have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Now, let's talk Brexit, because it's been 1 month since the UK began its new trading relationship with the EU. Along with tariff-free access for UK goods, the Prime Minister promised no barriers for sending those products into the EU. However, many food companies have said that they've faced multiple checks, form filling and severe delays in getting their products across the border. Our economics editor, Faisal Islam, has been talking to one of them. Wow, very powerful. So how are businesses faring on the other side of the channel in France? Well, here are experiences for two of them. concur on that point. I drive through the city of London on my way into the studio, and as you say, it is a ghost town at the moment. Let's turn to the issue of how easy it is to raise finance, both in London and across the rest of Europe. Is it easy for businesses to raise the capital that they need in the EU? And we will have to leave it there, but as you say, cooperation needed and a little bit of hope in the idea of light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks very much, Andrew.
Thank you.
Do stay with us here on BBC News. Still to come. Hello there, this is BBC World News, the latest headlines for you. Now, should investors pull their cash out of polluting companies? This week, the CEO of BlackRock, which controls almost $9 trillion of pensions and investments, wrote to the bosses of all the companies they invest in around the world, asking them how they plan to go zero emissions. Larry Fink told the BBC's business editor Simon Jack all firms are now clearly under the climate microscope. Interesting. OK, let's stay with climate change because it's been a major theme at the virtual Davos conference taking place this week. The movie star Robert Downey Jr. is best known for playing, of course, Iron Man, the tech tycoon, and he's been telling the BBC's Rory Cellan-Jones about his new role as head of an investment fund promoting green technology. Robert Downey Jr. there. Back with the headlines in about 5 minutes. I'll see you soon. We'll have to leave it there, but as you say, cooperation needed and a little bit of hope in the idea of light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks very much, Andrew.
Thank you.
Do stay with us here on BBC News. Still to come.